Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today we'll be looking at the state of the balance post, which is as useless as it usually is, but we'll get to more of that later. And later on we'll be looking at Warriors Den itself, because there were some interesting things said there as well. So let's get to it. Let's get to the state of balance Season 7 post. So obviously this is not Season 8, right? This is not the Woolen Heroes, this is Warden Valk rework and the Study Guard bug change. And so, one important thing I'm going to be talking about before we get into the actual matrix is that they've kind of changed the way they're showing data for 1v1 here. They used to have it as, we used to pick the top 5% of players in 1v1, but we've been asking for kind of better data. So instead, I think we're getting, with the introduction of Master and Grandmaster ranks and rank tools, we can focus on that data set. So I assume that just means we're only going to be looking at the top 1%, as that's what Masters is, I think, supposed to be. So it might be a little bit more interesting. It's not. There's also PC and console combined as well, as per usual. They also say it is the best representation of high-level balance, which is not true. Ranked is not taken seriously by anybody. Ranked is very, very bad, and as I said, nobody takes it seriously. Rank duel is not the only slice of data we look at when we consider our balance work. That is good. And 44 is the same as it's been. Okay, so this is platinum and above, right? I knew that that's what this was going to be, right? Because I've already looked at it, but I just wanted to kind of follow their thought process. With the introduction of Master and Grandmaster ranks and rank duels, we can focus on that data set. Platinum and above. Great. All right, so let's look at the matrix. First of all, the highest, Conqueror. That's not technically correct in terms of who's actually the strongest, but that's fine with Conqueror being the highest, 58%. I can see low-level players, which is Platinum and above. I can see low-level players struggling really hard against Conk, especially when playing some of the worst characters in the game. Then the Valk is the second best, which kind of still makes sense, because even though Valk is absolute garbage, like Valk is very bad except against Warden, which she has 50% win rate against, which makes no sense. If she has that high of a win rate, she has like 60% against Gladiator, which again makes no sense, because all you have to do against Glad is just block top and dodge or her shield bashes, and there's nothing she can do. She has like what, 62 against Peacekeeper, 62 against Nobushi. She cannot touch on Nobushi ever. There's nothing Val can do to a Nobushi. There's nothing she can really do to a Peacekeeper as well, because Peacekeeper has a dash attack. So, and this is extremely bad, right? If they're looking at it as an actual like balance point, Val should be around here, like lower mid tier, maybe around mid tier, at best mid tier. Especially after the Willing character, she should be around here, which is the lower mid tier, maybe higher low tier. She's very bad. Now the next is Shinobi, which, if this is talking about slide tackle, if I'm assuming here that people are using slide tackle to get this winner, it makes sense, but they're not. You know, we both know, you and I both know, guys, they're not using slide tackle. They're just spamming lights and it's working, because this is not high level data. This is data of platinum level players, which are really bad, diamond players, which are really bad, master players, which are very bad, and grandmaster players, which some of them are very, very bad as well. And this is also PC and console. So then we have Aramusha, which again makes sense to me. Aramusha is extremely weak, but he's been doing okay in all of the matrices so far. So from the first 4 characters, we get 3 that should never be there. Shinobi should be around this level, but for the different reasons than he actually is. So because of that, I'm gonna say that he shouldn't be there. All right. Then we have Orochi, which, if you factor in the fact that this is about console, then makes sense. PC and console, but console has a bigger player base, so sure, Orochi really is not that good on console, but sure. He has a 39% win rate against Aramusha, which shows how bad these players are. Actually, let's look at Aramusha's win rate. 61 against Orochi, 60 against Berserker, 57 against Shaman, 56 against Kensei, 59 against Raider, 59 Gladiator, 60 Shugoki, 65 Peacekeeper, 67 Nobushi. What is this? Like, none of those matchups are in any way in favor of Aramusha. Alright, whatever. Orochi Berserker is 6th, right? Which is obviously way low for him. 52% win rate. Shaman, Warden, very low actually for what I would assume. How many complaints there have been about Warden, I would assume Warden would be higher. Also, especially with how popular Warden is, I would assume he'd be way higher. But maybe because of how popular he is, actually, there's so many like mediocre players that Warden just kind of ends up losing. I don't know, Highlander, Kansai, Raider, Gladiator at like what, 10th, 12th spot, which great, one of the best duelists, like very, very low. Lawbringer higher than like Peacekeeper, Nobushi, and Warlord. Warlord is the worst duel character according to this matrix, even though he's actually like the highest, maybe the second, maybe the third highest. Warlord is one of the best characters in the game in terms of duels, but here he's one of the worst. Oh, he's actually the worst. 44% win rate, the same level as Nobushi, 44% win rate, which also obviously Nobushi shouldn't be here. Nobushi has like a 5-5 matchup against every character in the game. So she should be about here, like 50% win rate, right? Around where Highlander is. But Warlord lowest, Aramusha 4th, Valk 2nd, just shows how useless this is. We went from top 2.5% players, which is mediocre and average players, to Platinum and above, which is even worse. I understand that if you go like Diamond 5 and up, you're not going to get any Shugokis, really. You're not going to get any, many Lawbringers, Centurions, Raiders, and things. I understand that. My biggest problem with State of Balance, as they've done since, I think, Season 5 it was, right, is that you claim that this is high-level play, right? But everyone who's actually high-level is going to laugh at this, right? Like, I am laughing at it right now because this is really dumb and really bad. And then you have low-level players who this is not going to be, who this is like kind of about, but this is never going to be relatable to them, right? Like, who is this for? Who is this supposed to like satisfy? Who is this supposed to help? I don't get it. This is very useless. It has been useless since the beginning, and that's kind of all I have to say about it. I don't want to go like specifically about every character and all their win rates and how they're bad and how they're misleading, because obviously they're all misleading. Alright, so that's about it for the State of the Balance post. There's also a 4v4 data there, so if you want to look at it, you can. But it's just kind of boring. There's nothing interesting there. It's just more of the same, more of it, the State of Balance being useless. And like, I think Aramusha is the second highest. I think that's the only like somewhat interesting part, which is just depressing to look at. So we're gonna be moving on to the Warriors Den now. Alright, so during the Warriors Den, there was a Q&A with Stefan that took about 20 to 30 minutes, and there were two interesting parts that I want to talk about. Everything else, I'm sure other YouTubers will be talking about, and I'm sure you can just watch the VOD as well if you're interested. But the two interesting parts to me were, first of all, Shaman is finally getting nerfed. The bite is finally getting nerfed. I don't understand if it's... I'm not sure if it's this season or if it's season 9. They said next title update. I don't know when that is, so... Not sure when this is happening, but this is huge. Shaman has been the staple since season 4 when she came out. It's absolutely ridiculous that it took them a year to fix it, and even more than a year because it's still not fixed. Same with like Nobushi, Kansai, Lawbringer, all these characters that have been the meta since season 4. Or season 5 in case of Kansai, of course. So that's good, but also why did it take you a year to do this change? And so what they're doing is they're making it so that you can only get one heavy and then the defender can defend. So the person who's being ganked can defend, can block, I assume, maybe can parry. I don't know exactly the details, but it means that instead of taking 130 damage, you're going to be taking 80 to 90 maybe, which is a lot, but that's fine. She's supposed to be a ganker. 90 damage is cool, fine. I'm okay with that. If you're full health, you're not going to die is the main point here. The second thing that Stefan said that was interesting to me was how they're thinking of nerfing ganks as a whole, with possibly a similar change as what Shaman's bite is getting. I'm not a big fan of that because, and I'm sure this is a controversial opinion for a lot of you, ganks are pretty weak, aside from a few outliers like Shaman and Lawbringer. Yeah, Raider and Shinobi can gank as well, but it's nowhere near the same level of power, and then everyone else is pretty mediocre at it. The reason Berserker wasn't picked in Dominion in seasons 5, 6, and 7 wasn't necessarily because of the Guardswitch bug, which made it impossible for him to attack, it was instead because he couldn't provide anything. He couldn't gank because every garbage would be rolled and people would just sprint around avoiding the gank. And he couldn't 1v1 due to the Guardswitch bug, but even now in season 8, his 1v1, while strong, is still avoidable by simply unlocking and sprinting around the point. Basically what I'm trying to say here is that ganks overall are really not that strong, and unless big changes to sprint and a few other things are going to come at the same time as the supposed gank nerf, then we're going to have a problem of nobody dying ever. As I said, there were some more things that Stefan touched upon, and like some more new details on how they're going to improve offense, etc. But not too many things were new, so I wanted to focus on those two pieces of information. Alright, so thank you for watching, leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and let me know what you thought of this Warriors Den and the State of the Balance post. See you guys next time.